Okay, this is a brief description of the Leader's Guide's notes for cause-wise, just the way we teach it in the itRCA workshop. So very briefly, just to go over these notes. Basically, we start cause-wise by describing when it's used. Something's broken, emails down, servers keep crashing, whatever it is, a technical deviation of some sort, one technical situation that you need to resolve, and obviously you don't know the reason why it's broken. Okay. Page 3 in the book is where we usually refer people to, so we can do an introduction to cause-wise, and we explain the 3 skills here. Now this is our, it's exclusive to Thinking Dimensions Global. This forms the basis of our award-winning MIM module, or a Major Incident Management Process. So all I do normally is I actually physically draw it on a flip chart. I start with a standard line, and I say this standard line should represent your critical system, whatever that is, whether it's internet banking, a critical application, or a server, piece of hardware, whatever. When you have a deviation from standard, okay, you are actually down here, and I write actual there. And so the first thing we need to do is, obviously, in standard incident management, is we don't care what happened, we just want to try and get the service up. Okay, how can we get this service back up so we can get the users back up and running? Do we do some very quick actions like switch to DR, pull in another server, reroute the traffic? What are we going to do? Execute those actions and hopefully the service comes back up. Okay, at that point, whether it comes up or not, okay, if you fail to get the service back up or you do get the service back up, you still have to go back here to find out what happened. Okay, so this piece we call service recovery analysis, and we have tools and techniques to do this. Okay, when we come back here to look at this, you might have incident managers trying to get the service up, but at the same time have resolution managers working over here to try and find out what happened, just in case it doesn't work. Either way, when you do come back here, you need to do a specific structured approach to actually find the technical cause, what broke the camel's back. Okay, and we are going to show you today the cause-wise process, which will help you with this. The cause-wise process and the findings of the cause-wise process also help you to understand the root cause. And you might want to explain that there's quite a difference between the two. The root cause is the underlying reasons for the technical cause. Why did this happen? Okay, and that's what we're looking for over here. Okay, the underlying reasons that caused it to happen, so that we can prevent this thing happening again. I normally use the example to explain this of a printing situation we had with a client. We had a client that had 400 users out because a print server wasn't functioning properly and nobody could print. What we found the technical cause to be was all the print drivers had been deleted off the server. Okay, very quick fix, put the print drivers back on and everyone can print again. However, we didn't understand why that happened, so we have to ask questions. Why did this happen? What are the underlying reasons for this? What are our corrective actions we need to do to prevent this ever happening again? And after some time, about 3 or 4 days it took to find that the reason for the drivers being deleted was that somebody was actually following an archiving procedure. It was a new archiving procedure that told them to delete those printed files. Okay, it was incorrect, obviously. And that was a monthly procedure. So if we just stopped there at the technical cause, a month later we would have had the same incident. Okay, so we had to put some controls in place to deal with that. And that's the 3 skills. Okay, obviously for the rest of this document, you can just follow it through. Okay, you can start the cause-wise demo whether you're using faulty cards or Firebase, whatever you like, on PowerPoint or on flipchart. And there's appropriate videos for those that we have to show you those demos. Okay, after lunch, we run through these refinements. Okay, object fault examples, we've got them here in the flip chart below. Okay, we just run through some examples to understand how the object and fault works with specificity. Use the Coca-Cola example with the can. We use the printer problem with the red ink cartridge. Okay, to show how objects can jump. Okay, that's the note object family. Obviously, point people through the card. Have them have the object fault card open so they can follow the rules, and they can make notes in their workbook in the appropriate section. There's a couple of pages for object and fault. Okay, then do your question detail. Now this is a flip chart I normally populate. I don't have a picture of it, but this is what's on the flip chart. Okay. Question 1 and 2, I normally explain that these questions on the is side, in the is column, are populated directly from the work you've already done on the statement. So the object goes directly in question 1, and the fault goes directly into question 2. On the is side only, obviously. The but not and the why not's are always different. Okay, question 3 and 4. This is where we say, where I've put a note here, choose the question that fits the situation best, or use both if you have different facts. Okay, question 3 is normally around the user numbers or the users or groups of users that are impacted. E.g., is it finance users have the problem but engineering users don't? Okay. Geographic is all about the physical geographic location. It's happening in Sydney but not in Perth. Okay. There may be a situation where you can use both, where maybe it's the financial users that are affected and they're also in Sydney. It's only the Sydney financial users, but the engineering users aren't impacted in Sydney or in Perth. Okay, so you can have ways of populating both. Question 5, where is the fault located on the object, is the question. We say here that in virtual situations that question shouldn't make sense, because remember you're asking these questions in context. Where is the dropping located on the connection? Doesn't make sense. In IT we're in the virtual world a lot of the time, so this question should make sense. If you can answer it, usually means your statement is incorrect. You've now been more specific on your object. So just go back to the top, start again, check your facts and make sure they're still okay. It's also a great statement checker for that reason. Okay, question 6, timing. I said use a flip chart below to explain why this is important. You can use any flip chart or just turn to another piece of paper and just draw up that standard line, okay, and show them when you have a deviation. We're looking at the deviation. This is the timing. They're saying that's when it happened. If it actually happened before then or after that point in time, then we're looking in the wrong place. So be very demanding about your timing facts, or leave the question out if you can't get it. Question 8 and 9, same again, choose the question that fits the situation best or use both of different answers. Okay, operation phase, is it happening in production, not in dev? Is it an overnight batch run? It happens after job 4 finishes and job 5 starts. That's when we see the fault happen. Or in the sequence of hops that this transaction goes through, it happens at this router. Okay, so phase of operation, when are we seeing the fault? Is it a user phase of operation? Okay, are the users seeing it at a particular point in time? I use the example of the machine rebooting. When you talk to the user, ask them, show me when this happens. Okay, sure, I log in, I open this document, I do this to the document, and when I press the macro button, every time the machine reboots. That's what we want to know. Okay, that's what goes in these questions here. These notes are also in the Excel, the CauseWise Excel spreadsheet. Okay. I usually put the pattern question, question 7, on a separate page to describe the types of patterns you can have, time, incident, and physical. Okay, normally on a time pattern I talk about continuous, periodic, and sporadic, and give information on each. So if I have a continuous time pattern, it's normally to do with changes, hardware, software bugs, or patches or fixes, whatever. Okay, periodic is usually to do with human interaction with creatures of habit. Maybe the cleaner's going into the server room and turning the server off every Tuesday at 10 AM, and that's why it's happening. Okay, sporadic, the things are out of our control. Alrighty, normally things like environmental impacts where microwave links are getting blocked. Okay, the cleaner's coming in and doing something, the ISP is doing something to your international link at certain times, flooding the link with traffic. You don't have control over that. Okay, and maybe that's why your Citrix published apps are running so slow for 20 minutes of the day at certain random periods. Okay, so some examples like that. Okay, then get them to do the case study once you've finished this. Okay, if you do need time to fill in, page 9 in your workbook is another way, has some examples of underlying reasons if they want some more root cause info. Okay, otherwise go straight into Firebest case study or Error 500 or vanishing emails, whichever one you're going to use. Okay, and this information here is purely for the Firebest. All right. When you've done that, if you've got time at the end of the day, great time just to spend 15 minutes doing one or both of these thinking on your feet demonstrations. Okay, get them to give you, like for the faulty cards, have already pre-populated the typical causes that you've already got from the case study you've done, but get them to say, what was the object? And they'll say, well, it was a credit card embossing. What was wrong with it? It was flat. What was unique about this situation? And they should give you some input here. I normally have a half card, 2080, and 6 to 11 months. It just makes this example flow very well. Okay, this other one, faulty ATM case study, you can get them to read it if you like. while they're reading it, do this grid, put in your typical causes, which are straight off the case study, and get them to ask them again what these are, but sort of lead them a little bit with getting those in there, okay? And that's it.